Hello and welcome to Bookbusters. Today I am doing my BooktubeAthon TBR. Now, as many of you may know, BooktubeAthon is coming up. And if you don't know what BooktubeAthon is, it is 7 days of awesomeness, and by awesomeness I mean reading. It is 7 days of reading as much as you possibly can. The goal is to read 7 books in those 7 days, and if you look on the BooktubeAthon channel, you will see that there are also 7 challenges for those 7 days, and I have a stamp from the ice skating rink. It's a cute puppy. If you look on the BooktubeAthon channel, you will see that the host of BooktubeAthon, Ariel Bassett, has created a video showing the 7 challenges for this year's BooktubeAthon. I have found several books for each challenge, and I'm going to try to read all of the books that I picked out, but I might only get around to reading 1 per challenge. I've also picked out several backup books in case the books I picked for the challenges just aren't pulling me in. I did this because of the advice that I got from the Little Book Owl in her How to Readathon video, which is linked in the doobly-doo if you are looking for that. And she said that you should always have backup books, so I do. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Challenge number 1, read a book with blue on the cover. For this, I have 2 books. One is I Was Here by Gail Forman, which, as you can see, has blue right there and right there. I also have All the Bright Places, which I will show a picture of right here. I bought this book using the Book Depository's BooktubeAthon sale. If you didn't know already, this year BooktubeAthon is being sponsored by the Book Depository. Again, it was sponsored last year too. They have created a list of 100 books that you can get a really awesome discount on. They also have a promo code which you can use, which is in my description, to get an extra 10% off the already discounted books. And a lot more of the books that I'll be showing on my list I also got from there. Fingers crossed that my order comes in on time so I can read them all for BooktubeAthon. Finding question 2. That rhymes. Question number 2 is a doozy, so let's see if I can say it. Read a book whose author has the same last initial as your last initial. Took me a long time to get that. And for this question, I also have 2 books. The first is Love Stargirl by Jerry Spindelli. See? It's an S. And my last name also starts with an S. And if you'll notice here, I have a bookmark in this book because I've already read this much. But that was a very long time ago, and I haven't gotten around to reading anymore. So I'm going to do that now. That's what BooktubeAthon is all about. My second book for question number 2 is Girl Online by Zoe Singh. And I will be borrowing this book from Ayana, so I also do not have it with me, but I will show a picture here. Challenge number 3 is read someone else's favorite book. Now for this, I will be reading Ayana's favorite book, and Ayana will be reading mine. We're cheating just a little bit because neither of the books that we're reading are actually the other person's favorite book of all time, but they are books that the other person really enjoyed. For this, I'll be reading Scarlet from the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. Like I said before, it's not Ayana's favorite book, but she did really love it. As I mentioned in our Unpopular Opinions book tag, which, by the way, if you haven't seen, link in the doobly-doo. As I mentioned in our Unpopular Opinions book tag video, I have just finished reading Cinder from the Lunar Chronicles, and I fell in love with it. So I went on the Book Depository and bought Scarlet, Cress, and Fairest, the next 3 books in the Lunar Chronicles, because I just fell in love and I had to have them all. Although, sadly, I do not own this book right here, for this is Ayana's copy that I am merely borrowing. Challenge 4 is read the last book you acquired. So it doesn't matter how you acquired it. You could have bought it, or gotten it from the library, or perhaps borrowed it from a friend. For this question, I have selected books from all of the above. So hopefully I'll get to read them all, but I might just end up reading 1 or 2 of them. My first book for this question is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. Now this particular book I borrowed from my Anna, around the same time that I borrowed Cinder from my Anna, but I have not gotten around to reading it. So it is now on my BooktubeAthon TBR, and I may get around to reading it. Hopefully. Probably. The next book I have for this challenge is Will Grayson by John Green. The next book I have for this challenge is Will Grayson by John Green, which is the last book I bought at a bookstore, while the next few books I'm going to show you are the last books I bought on Book Depository. The last 3 books I have for this challenge are Scarlet, Cress, and Fairest. I really hope they come on time. Challenge number 5 is finish a book without letting go of it. Now, it is recommended to pick a short book for this challenge, so I have picked the absolute shortest book I could find, Happy Birthday, December 1st, which is barely a book. It's really more of a list of things that happened on December 1st. It doesn't even have an author. Like, what? There's nothing here. So hopefully this will be a really quick read, and I won't have to walk around all day holding this book. Challenge number 6 is an easy one. Read a book that you really want to read. For this question, I have picked Graceling by Kristen Cashore. Did I pronounce that right? Now, this book is the One Book, One School for the school I shall be attending in the fall. In case you don't know what One Book, One School is, it's essentially where every single person in a school reads one book. So that's the teachers, the students, the janitors, the counselors, the weird rat that lives in the basement. Everyone at my new school is going to have read this book. Supposedly. At least, they're supposed to. Challenge 7 is to read 7 books over the course of BooktubeAthon. And although I've already picked way more than 7 books, I have a few more that are backup books. I'm not gonna lie, my backup books aren't really the best books to be reading if I'm getting out of my books, seeing as I put off reading them for so long. But you know what? I want to get the most out of BooktubeAthon. I want to read as many books as I possibly can. First on my backup list, we have Esperanza Rising. Next I have One Crazy Summer by Rita Williams Garcia. My third backup book is The Trumpet of the Swan by E.B. White. Last backup book is Just One Year by Gail Forman. Well, that's it for my BooktubeAthon TBR. Be sure to tune in for all of my BooktubeAthon videos and all of Ayana's BooktubeAthon videos. And to be sure that you don't miss any of them, why don't you go ahead and click the subscribe button, eh? And while you're at it, hey, thumbs up right next to it. Go ahead and click that too. And hey, since you're there, you might as well check out my description because hey, there'll be a list there of all of our last Bookbusters videos. And there's a list of all of the other social media websites that you will find Bookbusters on. Not to mention, there's a list of the Book Depository's 100 books that you can get on discount all because of BooktubeAthon. But remember, that deal only lasts till August 9th, which is the end of BooktubeAthon. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.